I had planned to make a video about welcoming in the new year and exploring the idea of how we plan for the new year in terms of resolutions and getting it right and just that kind of thing. But you know, it really is about, on a symbolic level, an opportunity to do things differently. But so often we have the experience of things not really being that different. We still end up with the same relationship issues, the same addictions, the same money problems, the same everything, you know, each year, with little, you know, high points and low points mixed in between. And how that can create a pattern of fear connected to like a fear of change, basically a fear of letting go, a fear of changing ourselves, a fear of losing whatever it is that keeps us stuck in the pattern that we so desperately want to change within ourselves but can't seem to. And so just thinking of New Year's Eve as being like an opportunity to tune into welcoming in a new year and opening yourself up to change and new ways of looking at things, and just knowing that that's what it's about. So I was going to explore just, you know, how to welcome in the new year, because it's not something that I've done consciously every year since, you know, I was a girl or anything. I was a big time partier. Would spend hours and hours getting ready and figuring out all week, what am I going to wear, spending a lot of money on clothes, you know, that I didn't have. Just really being into the party fashion, being seen. My experience of New Year's Eve has not been, in the past, has not been very, I don't know, something that would be a good example of welcoming in the new year, you know. The next day I'd feel hungover and ashamed. And so these last few New Years have been very mellow with Chris and I, and fun with watching Dick Clark, because he kind of looks like an animatronic person. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like you would see at Disney World or Epcot. This year we decided, I just stayed at my place and we're going to get together tomorrow. And I've been on call, talking to people, doing readings, and just sort of feeling the change in myself in terms of being a more introspective person. And I'm kind of new to that. And but realizing that there is something waiting for me there in terms of being a healer and a helper and a creative person. And really it's just about letting go of the past, letting go of just any part of me that has nostalgia for the old days, because the old days were really empty and they led to a lot of, like, you know, drinking a whole lot, being hungover, just not valuing the things that were really going to make my life better, like my job, my career, my finances, my family, my relationships. It was all about the exterior and kind of superficial friendships and superficial relationships. So shifting my energy from the past to the present and thinking about how I'm using my time and my resources and my energy differently now. And so a New Year's Eve by myself, working and, you know, making a video, talking and sharing ideas, that's a party, you know? Like that's enough, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what it's about for me. And so I decided to go and mail some letters at, like, I don't even know what time it was, like maybe 1:30-ish, and at night. And I live near a bar, and some houses, and then there's an intersection and then a mailbox. And I'm walking and I hear a little girl crying for her mother, just screaming and crying, "Mommy! Mommy! Mommy, help me! Mommy! Mommy!" Just, and then she'd stop and then she'd do it, and it was like heart-wrenching and terrifying and crazy, because I'm thinking, why am I hearing this voice at this time? Does somebody have their kid in the bar? And I'm walking and I see it's a little girl at a door of a house screaming for mom. And this is a house that I'm aware of, and I know I've seen the mother and I have seen the child, and I know the kind of mother that mother is. She's not there. It's New Year's Eve. She's not there. Her daughter's there screaming. And there's all these people standing around, smoking outside of the bar. It's like a lot of hustle and bustle happening right in front of this house. And nobody's doing anything. No one's, and I'm thinking, I don't want to, I'm afraid of this woman. She reminded me of a lady that I had a confrontation with when I was a teenager, which was a friend's mom. It was really intense, and so I had that same kind of feeling of like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to get involved because I'm scared of this woman. But it's like I couldn't cross the street. Like it was like I was having this little internal struggle for a moment, and then I'm like, what are you talking about? You're go fucking help this kid. Oh my God, Mandy, go now. And so I went over there and I asked her what was wrong, and she said she couldn't find her mom. And I was like, so is anybody there with you? No one was there. I found out her mom's name, the little girl's name, and I went across the street. I figured she's probably over there, and I go in, and she was, and she started talking to some guy, and just kind of like, and just seemed like, just so into herself. Not a fucking care, worry, concern about how her daughter might feel. And it was good that she went. There was a part of me that thought, what if she doesn't do anything? What if she just refuses to go? And nobody is with this child, and I'm gonna go home, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna fucking call the police. I'm gonna report her for neglect. And I don't want to do that because I know foster care is just like hell, but it's like, Jesus, we can't let kids just suffer in fear and abandonment. Like, that shit's gotta stop. It's gotta stop sometime. She was maybe 5, 6, and this was so genuine. For the love of God, somebody help me find my mom. I'm all alone and I'm terrified. This experience with this little girl, it is something she's going to remember. Her body, like her energy and her fear level, was at a point where it affects cells in the nervous system. And she's not going to get that, like, oh, mom's going to be consistent from here on out, or was consistent up until tonight. It's like, this is a larger, thing of neglect, of the neglect that comes from self-absorbed, unhealed women. Wake up, ladies. Fucking start taking care of your kids. You've got to do it. Start taking care of yourself. Drama, people who like drama because they're traumatized, and it's easier to create drama than to heal your trauma and not like act it out with your children. So yeah, so that was my New Year's Eve, and it felt like it happened because several reasons. One, because I'm healing my own abandonment stuff and understanding it in relationship to my own mom. And so just, the similarity of the party lifestyle creating neglectful and abandoning type situations. and realizing that a lot of like the going out energy that I had growing up, or like in my late teens and 20s, was related to the fact that my mom would go out and it always seemed like fun. It was like, going out must be really fun if you'd rather do that than hang out with me, you know? So when I got older, I wanted to go out too, because hey, that's more fun than me. Just me sitting at home, that's boring. I suck, you know? What am I gonna do? I don't know. I'll talk to, I'll put on makeup. I'll talk to myself. I'll write a poem. I'll, make something. That's boring. Because if it wasn't boring, then my mom would want to stay home and be with me. But instead, she wanted to go out on a night when she could be with me. And it was scary being alone. Even at 16, it's kind of scary being alone, you know? And just having to suppress that because I wanted my mom to be happy. And it made her happy. So, my feelings didn't matter. But this little girl didn't care. It wasn't about like, she wasn't like, oh, I'm kind of frightened, so maybe I'll wait until my mom gets home. And just, I'll just sit here and cry myself to sleep until mom gets home because I want mom to have a good time. She's like opening the door screaming, Mommy! Mommy! Come home and be with me. I'm alone and I'm scared and this is where you fucking belong. Mommy! And it was courageous and powerful, and that was the other, one of the things that helped me get past my fear is if, say this child, for all I knew, the child was screaming and crying because the mom was beating her, It's like, okay, here's a confrontation that I really am afraid of, but it was like this little girl's courage to like scream out to the world. That deserved recognition and help. It was so surreal to see all these people standing around, and she saw all these people and like, I'm sure she thought somebody's gonna come, no, nobody did. It made me realize that kind of environment, it's not where I'm at anymore, and that, where I used to be is not where I am now, and so I can let that go because it's just almost like habit in terms of carrying around nostalgia. I'm tired of that. It has its place, but it just feels like it's weighing me down for what I need to do, and so it feels like this unexpected event, just sort of like, whew, it helped expedite some themes that I've been thinking about as I approach this new year. So happy New Year, and happy healing and growing and blooming and all that good stuff for 2009, and thank you for watching.
Let's cut out the melodrama so we can wake up the whole wide world. Let's make up and start all over.